Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. We are Millennial Mom. If you don't know who is who, I'm Millennial. This is Mom.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Mom or Kay from Millennial Mom, and Happy New Year to everyone. All right, today everyone, we're gonna talk about 90 Day, The Single Life, Season 4, Episode 1, Chantel Gets Her Groove Back. Now, before with any other video, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please consider subscribing, hit that like button, leave me your comments. All right, let's get started. On this season, we have Chantel from the family Chantel. We have Veronica from the 90 Day series Pillow Talk with her ex, Tim. We're also gonna have Tyray, who we met on 90 Day the Other Way, who is catfished by Carmela, AKA Christian. We're also gonna have Miss Debbie, who is on the show looking for her Prince Charming, because if you remember, she broke up with her much younger boyfriend, Mohammed. And then we also have OG Natalie, who is back and has been on several seasons of the 90 Day franchise. And I personally thought Natalie was gold digging the entire time. And then we also have John. John has also been on the 90 Day franchise with his brother Patrick, who's married to Thais. All right, let's get started. So first up, we have Chantel. She's 32. Now, if you follow the family Chantel, maybe you didn't. Chantel was married to Pedro from the Dominican Republic. Now, there was always some contention and drama going back from Chantel's family to Pedro's family. It was a whole bunch of drama that got mixed and mingled, and bottom line is, Chantel and Pedro did not work out after 7 years. Well, Chantel is trying to get her groove back, per the title of the episode. Her and her friends are headed to Greece to find the one, or shall I say the next one. Now, is it me, or does Chantel's friends, they call themselves the Divorce Crew, are here for their 15 minutes of fame? Because listen, one of the friends in particular was just really showing out and for the camera and just all up in here. So yeah, they're on their way to Greece so she can find her Greek god. Chantel said that she is looking for a man in Greece because she heard that, they're Spartan-like and they have washboard abs and just have this Greek mythology about them. And she feels that's where her man is. So when Chantel gets to Greece, and at the same time, Chantel is also talking about she wants someone to respect her and someone she could be with to travel the world with her new companion. And she didn't have that with Pedro. And also, she said she wanted them well packaged. Now, Chantel and her friends make it to Greece and they go out for the evening, they go out for drinks and whatever they're doing, drinks and dinner. And so the friends are determined for Chantel to go talk to at least 5 men in the bar and give her phone number. And at first, Chantel's a little awkward and like, no, not really. I don't want to do that. But they're like, no, girl, go ahead and do it. I'm telling you, these friends aren't giving positive friend energy because no, she don't even seem like she's ready. She sounds like it, but in her heart, you can tell in her energy, Chantel's not ready. Well, Chantel goes up to a guy at the bar. She's like, hi. How are you? I'm Chantel. And the guy's looking at her like, oh, okay, like, who are you and why are these cameras in my face? But the conversation turns from awkward to, a little small talk. And it's like, okay, well, what do you do? I'm from America, different things like that. Now, when Chantel comes back to the table and she's telling her friends like, yeah, I got this number. When they're leaving to go home or to the next spot, there's this young guy outside and they're like, hey, how you doing? This is our friend over here. So he comes over and they're like, oh, you're cute, right? Not necessarily Chantel, but the Divorce Crew. And so they're like, well, how old are you? He's like, I'm 20. And Chantel rolls her eyes. She's like, oh my gosh, 20? So Chantel in confessional says, well, maybe I have a cougar inside of me. I'm like, girl, you're only 32, okay? But 20, 32, that is a big age difference. Well, Chantel learns that this guy is part of the army And she's like, oh, okay, so you have a good job or whatever. So then he offers to give her a ride on the back of his motorcycle. At first, Chantel is like, I don't know. But then she gets on the motorcycle after the encouragement of the divorce crew. So she gets on it, she rides around, then she comes back after a while, and she's like, okay, thank you. And the friends were like, oh no, pushing her to do more. The main friend was like, ooh, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. After Chantel give this guy a deep kiss. So they're encouraging Chantel, like, go ahead and go see what he wants. Go see if it's really given what is given. But Chantel's like, no, this is exactly how Pedro got me. This is exactly, I don't want to go through this again. So then when her and her divorce party crew walk off to go sit back down, that's when Chantel gets in her feelings and she starts to reminisce about Pedro, the things that he did for her when they first met. He took her on a four-wheeler and she was just having those memories. And the friends were like, oh no, don't get back in your mind. Don't think about it. But again, it's only been 6 months. So Chantel, in my opinion, is trying to put herself out there already when she hasn't completely healed. And then again, her friends aren't helping her cause. Next up is Natalie. Natalie is 38. She's been living in Florida. She's not happy. Natalie feels that the best move for her is to move to LA where Josh is located. Now, as mentioned, Natalie has been on the franchise before with Mike, who met her in Ukraine. They got engaged. She moved to Seattle, Washington, well, a suburb of Seattle. They got married. Natalie wasn't happy because Mike lived a very quiet life back in the woods on his own land. And Natalie was just about hustle and bustle, and she wanted everything that America could bring, the land of milk and honey. When we see Natalie next, she's actually at the airport with flowers and American flag. I'm like, who is she at the airport waiting for with American flag? Because Josh is from California, Mike is from Seattle, so who could it be? Well, it turns out it's Natalie's mother. She's able to come from Ukraine. And if y'all know in the news, there's lots of things going over with Ukraine. And guess who helps Natalie come over to America to get a visa? Natalie's ex, Mike, from Washington. So that was nice on Mike's part to still help out his ex and her mother. While at the airport waiting for an Uber, whatever, Natalie is telling her mother that, I'm trying to get back with Josh and we won't be in Florida for very long. We're gonna go to California, maybe to Hollywood, to see if I can make it there, to get an apartment and a job and all this other stuff. When we see Natalie and her mother again, Natalie said it's been a couple weeks since her mother has came to Florida and they're now packing up to make that move to LA. So Natalie and her mother get on the plane to LA. When they make it there, guess who's not there to pick her up? Natalie says that she got a text from Josh saying, you know what, I won't be there and I will see you in a couple days. Natalie's mom is like, excuse me, what? He's not here to pick us up. Like, what are we gonna do? Now, Natalie's mom is thinking, like, you don't think this is weird? Or you don't think there's something going on that he's not able to pick us up or anything like that? Natalie's like, no. He must be busy. So Natalie rented a hotel room for a couple days. She says it's not in the best neighborhood to sort things out until her and Josh can meet up to figure things out where they're gonna go. This whole time, Natalie's mom was like, I don't understand why Josh hasn't picked us up. Even after a few days gone by, now it's probably been like almost a week that Natalie hasn't heard from Josh. Seemed like every time we saw Mom and Natalie, she was like, where's Josh? Natalie gets a text from Josh about a week later. She's now getting ready for date night because he wants to meet up with her to, he hasn't seen his boo in a while to see what's going on. So when Natalie tells her mom, hey, Josh texted me I'm going on a date, she's like, yeah, well, ask him where he's been. And Natalie, again, is trying to brush it under the rug. So when Natalie goes downstairs for her date to meet Josh, she's like, oh, I'm so happy to see you, all this other stuff. Josh says the same thing, but you know what? No. There's just a whole bunch of other issues going on behind the scenes. Well, they have their date. Josh takes her to a roller rink. Natalie says she hasn't skated before, so they are out there. Natalie's not having the best time because, of course, like I said, she don't know how to skate, so she's trying not to fall. And so after that date, They sit down and talk about, Natalie's like, where were you? Josh says, you know what? I have business things. I go from here to Ohio to see my kids. Because Josh has kids and an ex-wife that he's still very involved with. And Natalie knows this and she feels insecure. They're having drinks and the night doesn't go as planned. Because Natalie is writing down in a little book. She's like, so tell me when you have time for me. And then production zoomed in on the paper. Number 3 was sexy time with Josh. Okay. And so he's like, well, I'll be here tomorrow. And after that, I have to go back on a business trip. Natalie says, so when you going to have time for me? He goes, well, I gave you today and tomorrow, it'll be like a week. Natalie's like, no, 2 days is not a week. Even though I was thinking, Josh, 2 days is not a week. Okay, Natalie was right on that one. So then Natalie gets upset. She goes, you know what? Whenever you have time, you let me know because I moved here for you. I don't have a job. I don't have a place to stay. Are you going to help me with this? Josh says, I will. How are you doing with, how are you with administrative work? I guess kind of like a secretary or something like that. Natalie says, oh, I can do that. And Josh apparently has friends that has businesses. He says, I can help you out when it comes to that. So then Natalie isn't like feeling good. Because to me, if you've watched Natalie before, or if you haven't, you'll notice that if things don't go Natalie's way, it's kind of like she's throwing a tantrum like a spoiled brat. Okay, so things aren't going her way, so she's ready to leave. So Josh takes her to the hotel where she's still staying because she didn't go to his house or nothing like that, even though I think Josh thought that she was going to, and she didn't. She said, no, I'd rather go home. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. So Natalie goes up to the elevator. She said, no, I'll go up by myself because Josh was going to be the gentleman to take her or escort her to her room or whatever. And so she left and Josh went to talk to production. And production is asking him about how's he feel about the relationship and about the time spent with Natalie. And while he's explaining what he was going to do with his business and that he doesn't feel like him and Natalie are on the same page, he's not really sure it's going to work out. Why did you hear Natalie coming from the back? I thought she went upstairs. Okay, unless she forgot something in the car. And so she's like, what do you mean, Josh? What do you mean? I sold my car for you. I did all this from you. And this is what you do to me? You don't know if we're going to make it. So we're going to have to see how this plays out. But it already looks like we can see how it's going to play out. All right, let's move to Debbie. Debbie, 67, is back looking for love after things didn't work out with 32-year-old Muhammad. Now, Debbie goes to show us on her phone that Muhammad has blown up her phone like every minute and texting her talk about, please answer the phone, I have something to say. But Debbie has gotten enough courage and strength to be like, nope, I'm leaving this young man alone. I'm ready for my Prince Charming, someone who can appreciate me. I'm eclectic. And she said someone who's not necessarily into numbers of age, like not hung up on like how old you are, but she would prefer someone 50 and older. I'm like, Debbie, you need to be with someone in your peer group because these 32-year-olds don't want nothing from you but what you can offer. Just my opinion based off of Muhammad and just them being 32. All right, so we see Debbie sitting around painting because she's an artist. She says she's semi-retired. She also wants to start a new venture with a petting zoo and an art studio for people who are into things like she is, just into the arts and just different types of, just Debbie's in her own world. So whatever she's into, she's trying to draw people into her own interests. All right, Debbie also said she's ready to push that reset button and start dating again. And I'm like, yes. You definitely need to do that. Now, Debbie explained she was married twice before. Both those marriages didn't work out, but she said her second marriage lasted 23 years and he just was a rolling stone. And that really hurt her along the way and damaged her psyche and self-esteem where she just doesn't want to be bothered with anyone like that anymore. Now, Debbie also said that she is 67, yes, but she feels that being 67 and single is confusing for her because she doesn't really know what men want. She's not sure if they are, again, about labels or what, but she just, is hoping to find who is there for her. Now, later in the evening when we see Debbie, her friends do take her out on the town, and they're going salsa dancing, and it's one of those places where whether you either know how to salsa dance or, as a beginner, or you just want to learn or refresh your memory on how it works. So let me just say that Debbie's two friends, it was a man and a lady, they look like they're a friend group of Debbie's friends. They look not as eclectic to her, but they look like her vibes. Like you can tell, like those are Debbie's friends, okay? So when they're out salsa dancing, she gets up with a partner she doesn't know. And the instructor's going through the steps and she's doing it too with the partner. And when they're done, Debbie's like, thank you for the dance. He goes, oh yeah, thank you too. So he gives her a compliment, a high five or something. And then the partners next to them, the lady says something and Debbie's dance partner gives her a high five, the lady next to him. And Debbie's kind of side-eyeing him looking like, this reminds me of my ex-husband. So it's an automatic no. So when she gets back to the table where her friends are, because her friends didn't dance, they wanted Debbie to mix and mingle. They're like, oh, how did it go? Did you get a number? Debbie said no, because, he was looking at the young lady next to me and giving her the eye. So, I'm not trying to go backwards. And I'm like, Debbie, this shows a jealous side. He didn't know you, just like he didn't know that lady. How come he can't high five and be friendly with everybody in the room? So let's move to Tyray. Tyray, 33, was just recently on the 90-day franchise, but Tyray says one of the goals for him is to find love and get fit. He said his family would describe him as a teddy bear. Tyray also mentioned that his father passed on when he was 4 years old, and his mother worked a lot to provide for the family. Now, in regards to his love life, he said he didn't date in high school. He says that he feels his weight has taken a hit on his self-esteem, and he hasn't had his first kiss, nor has he ever been intimate with somebody, according to Tyray. Now, production asked Tyray, who is your dream female, or who do you think, is your type or something of that nature? Tyray gonna say Hillary Clinton. And they said, why Hillary? And even I was like, why Hillary Clinton? He said because he likes her demeanor. He likes what she puts out. She's very confident in herself. And on top of that, she's a Scorpio and she might be a freak in the sheets. I said, not of your former first lady. Now, if you didn't know, Tyray being on the show previously, he was catfished. He originally thought he was dating someone for 4 years out of Barbados named Carmela, when it was really Christian. Later in the episode, Tyray is hanging out with his friend named Javon. He said he's known her since the 6th grade. He says people says that they should date. He's like, oh, no. That's just my friend. I'm like, okay, well, if you know her for that long, if y'all just friends, you're just friends, but who knows you better. Now, later when we see Tyray hanging out with Javon, he's asking her for tips because Tyray met someone at a funeral for his best friend, and his best friend is now having a birthday party and he wants to know what to say to ask her out for a date. I'm like, okay, that's kind of odd. But anyways, when he's talking to Javon, he said, so what should I say? She's like, well, approach me. What would you say to me if I was her? He's like, Tyray has an awkward, nervous laugh. He's like, oh, I like your shoes, or just something real awkward. She's like, no. Ask her how she's doing, what is she like, and different little things like that. Trying to pump up his self-esteem to be like, no, talk about things that come to you naturally. Later, when we see Tyray at the birthday party, now, he explained that he knew the friend from before, but he just said to us, telling Javon, that he didn't really know her. Now, her name is Tiffany. She's sitting at the birthday party, and he sees her, and he gets a drink. Tyray's brother and sister are there, and in confessional, Tyray's brother and sister said, yeah, he's not experienced, but I wish he would talk to her, Tiffany, so he can, have a little bit of fun. And then they poke fun at Tyray saying, yeah, he's a 30-something-year-old virgin. I'm like, why is this something cute to say on TV? As the party goes on, Tyray finally gets up the nerve to talk to Tiffany at the bar. But Tiffany goes, oh, hey, yeah, you know, I came to the party just for you. And again, I'm just confused by this whole conversation because Tyray, you either knew Tiffany or you didn't. Well, Tiffany made it seem like she knew exactly who Tyray was. And she said that she wouldn't miss this party because she wanted to meet Tyray and get to know him better. In confessional, Tiffany says that she likes big guys. She goes, she likes them because they're huggable and they eat good. I'm like, okay, Tiffany. So Tyray did say, well, you know, we can go out to eat or something if you want. So Tiffany took him up on his offer. So guess what? Tyray's first date is coming up. This season, we're going to see Chantel talk about bring on the men, okay? But at the same time, she's also afraid of international relationships. We have Natalie being disappointed with Josh. And we have Debbie on a date with someone. And the person she's on a date with thinks that Debbie is not exactly focused on him. We also have Tyray, who is traveling around to different states and while doing so in pursuit of a relationship. We have John getting advice or unwanted advice from his brother Patrick and sister-in-law Thais about dating. And then we have Veronica and Tim arguing about her relationship with Jamal. And Jamal is the son of Kim, who was on the 90-Day franchise with Usman, aka Soldier Boy, coming up. So we'll have to see how this works out. So far, I thought the episode was pretty decent. I'm looking forward to everybody going forward to see how things are going to work out. I'm definitely here to see if Tyray is going to find his first date and move on. So, all right, everyone. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share. And until next time, everyone, live simply, be grateful.